Hello everyone, and welcome to a long overdue video that I really been thinking on doing for a while. I really feel like this project does not have enough, attention I think is the right word. I'm not sure about support, but it could obviously use more support regardless of how much it has, because this is huge. So, if you don't know, this is a Fallout fan project called Fallout Lonestar, which is a completely new game. It is. I think it could assert itself as such. It's being built in the same engine that Fallout 4 was built onto. Originally, the project was started when New Vegas was out and before Fallout 4 was announced, but then later Fallout 4 got announced and they canceled their production and their progress in the New Vegas and Fallout 3 engine, and now they're moving all of the production over to the Fallout 4 engine because it's just better. You know, you can do the larger cities and things like that that really can bring you into the world more. So although they were making some really interesting advances in that engine, like there's one video where they actually created a train within the New Vegas world. Well, not within the New Vegas world, the engine. Like a moving train. I don't know how they did it. A lot of different moving parts, obviously, and just kind of, I guess you could say, cheating the system a little bit and making things work in a makeshift way. But I'm guessing they're going to be able to make that train scenario work almost flawlessly in Fallout 4 because you have the elevators. I'm sure you could use that to some extent. Or the vertibirds, even that. I'm sure it'll be a lot easier within the Fallout 4 engine. But that's what this is. I didn't even say where it is. It's in the Texas Wasteland. You can read on screen right there. And it's based off of the El Paso area, which is known as the Pass. And it's a Fallout fan project, and it's a whole new world with new lore, new companions, new locations, new guns, new characters, new everything. It's a new game. So right now I'm just going to sort of give you a quick little run through of a lot of the lore and the basis of this project. So let's get to that. Alright, so I was just going to cut straight to me being within these different subfolders, but really easy to navigate. Really well done website. You can see right here they've done some podcasts where they've discussed this in deeper length with interviewers, but I don't have a big enough channel to do that, so I'm just trying to bring attention to it right now. So here we go to history. Now the history of it, like I said, it recreates its own lore within this area. Now it's still the Fallout world that we know, and everything that has been canon up to this point is canon within this game, but they're making their own story for this area. And you can see right here, New Plague, Operation Black River, which deals with the area during sort of the resource wars that were going on, and has tie-ins to that from what I've picked up of the text. But the really interesting thing that piqued me here was the Great Wall. Now I don't know if this was added before or after the Trump scenario with him saying that he wanted to add a wall, but it's part of this. There was actually a Great Wall built to deal with immigration. It says right in the text somewhere around here. Somewhere. It's there, I promise. Yeah, right there. Strict immigration policy. They actually did that. They put the wall in this game. I just think that's a really cool reference to the actual world, which Fallout does do in a lot of senses. It references real life in a lot of ways, and they actually did that. And there's some more modern representation. Usually it's more based on a 50s reference, but this is, I don't know. I think that's really cool. They threw that in there, and it's actually a thing. And I think that fits the really messed up Fallout universe. That's enough about the Great Wall. We'll move on to, we have factions, completely new factions. 4 actually. I'm not sure if they're going to be sub-factions, almost like if you take New Vegas, for example, you obviously have the NCR House, Legion, and then Yes Man and Anarchy, that sort of faction, like your own faction, and then you have the Boomers, for example, or the Brotherhood of Steel, who are sort of a sub-faction, a lower-level secondary faction. I'm not sure if those are in there. I'm going to take a guess and say there are other factions and other, cities that are separate and independent from these factions, but these are, the big 4. Okay, so the first faction they have listed here is the Lonestar Confederacy, which seems to be, from what I'm picking up from going through the text, they are sort of the overarching faction, which, coming to thought, Fallout generally hasn't had that. It's almost like you have multiple factions that are on equal scale that are sort of battling over the predominant power. We haven't really seen a main overarching power from everybody. I guess in Fallout 4 you kind of have the Institute being the main dogs, and then the Brotherhood come in, but the fighting and the competition never really starts until the Brotherhood come in which at that point you have two equal forces fighting each other. But it seems that they're taking a new approach here, where the Lonestar Confederacy, they're the main government, almost, it seems like. I would assume so. It's a confederacy, and they're sort of the original foundation for the area. And then you have, which later down here, I'm just going to skip to these guys and then explain the other two from what I can pick up in a second. And you have the Revolution, which almost seems like they're coming from I guess you could compare them to the Railroad, almost, from what I'm picking up of it. Again, this is all speculation, but they seem like they're the rebellion. Really, this reminds me of Homefront, the Revolution. That's what I'm picking up right now. Makes me think of Homefront, which, in Homefront, the original game, you are a rebelling American faction that is fighting against the oppressive North Korean and Chinese, I believe. And that almost seems what this is. So, originally, it states that they were the people of the past, which is the El Paso area, were accepting of the Lonestar Confederacy. But then, I guess as time goes on, they become more of a pain in the ass, more corrupt, more issues, and then you have a revolution, people going against them, and that's what this is. Now, interesting enough, you see it says Option 3, Revolution. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 factions. It's really strange, because they're the last listed and they're Option 3. I'm not sure if that relates to you picking a side in the sort of the battle that's going on, I'm guessing, between these factions. Maybe you can't go with one of the other factions, maybe you're not accepted, I'm not sure, but it's really interesting. Option 3. Or maybe Option 3 is sort of like a tagline or a motto for the revolution. You have Option 1, 2, and 3. I don't know how it's going to tie in, but it's interesting. Now, moving on to the Disciples. This faction I'm really getting sort of a Followers of the Apocalypse vibe from, but maybe a little bit more technologically motivated. So the Followers of the Apocalypse aren't too interested in the scientific sense of things and that broad spectrum, or technology, I guess, more specifically, like, say, the Brotherhood are. They're more interested in medicine and in saving and helping people, where these guys seem to be wanting to help people. It says they further the great humanitarian cause to find solutions to the ills of the people. So I'm guessing that they're sort of somewhere in between the Brotherhood of Steel and the Followers of the Apocalypse. Not as technologically advanced as the Brotherhood of Steel, flying in on vertibirds and using laser weapons and every soldier wearing power armor, but then not just like running around being completely altruistic like the Followers of the Apocalypse are. Now, this is something we haven't seen before. Really, really interesting. I didn't exactly pick up on it initially after reading through it, I got it. But after just like skimming through it, I didn't notice what this was until I saw the image and read the Casino Nation. So if you don't know, America, or British and the colonies are formed in America. We come here. America separates from England. Here we are. Now the Native Americans are here. We won all the land, being America. Awful things are done to the Native Americans. There's the Trail of Tears with Andrew Jackson as the president. I'm just kind of skimming through this very quickly. And many Native Americans are killed. It's a damn near, actually it is, it's genocide, pretty much is what happened. Complete genocide not complete genocide, not complete, but very much so genocide. And many Native Americans were killed. And the rest that were still alive were sort of left to just kind of, America was basically like, just fuck off. That was the end of that. And eventually they were given reservations. They were given land back to, I guess, make up for what was done. Not that it could really make up for everything that had happened, but, and I mean, not to get into a whole political debate of if America owes them or not, whatever. This is Fallout, we're not here to talk about that. If you want to, by all means, I don't really care. But so that's what happens, and they're put on reservations, and many Native Americans, through one way or another, start up casinos. Very lucrative business, obviously. If you don't know what a casino is, then I don't know what you're doing. Very lucrative, making tons and tons of money off this, very wealthy. Not that the entirety of the populations on these reservations is wealthy, not even close. It's poverty most of the time. But some are very wealthy. And as you can see, the vaults are being brought back. So Native Americans come out of the vaults from these reservations in Texas, and they appear to have started a faction, the Casino Nation, which is really interesting and cool. I guess we're getting gambling back. So a little bit of the taste from Vegas is coming back. I'm sure they're going to have gambling, and they're going to be sort of almost like a mobster vibe is what I'm pulling from this, the Casino Nation. I don't know if I'm wrong in that, but it seems like a pretty decent guess. The Casino Nation would have some sort of like the Tops people, and no. The Gomorrah is almost what I'm getting from this. The people of the Gomorrah, if you know from New Vegas, are sort of like the Italian mobster vibe. Maybe a bit of that, but with a Native American instead of the Italian vibe. And it's also really interesting. We haven't gotten the Native American race so much in the Fallout universe yet. Now, we've been in Boston and DC and then also New Vegas. I'm not sure exactly where reservations are specifically in terms of the geographical area of the places that we've been so far. So, assuming that there aren't too many reservations in large cities, they're usually put out farther towards open area and where there's a lot of land and smaller populations. I know there's a good bit in New York. Still not sure exactly on the specific locations, but anyway, you would assume that there wouldn't be too many in the Boston or DC area, and I guess possibly the New Vegas area, although it seems that the open deserts of Nevada might have some reservations on them. I'm not sure, but we haven't gotten that yet in a Fallout game, which is really interesting. We're getting that now. We're getting the specific Native American people, and we're throwing them into the game and their faction, which is cool. That's cool. Maybe it's saying that keeping a lot of their culture within some of this, a different culture and form, so maybe we'll be exposed to some new weapons, things like that, bows and such. Although that's not a modern thing now, maybe it will be brought back because of, times have been reverted, obviously, and we don't have these things. The reservations don't matter after Fallout happens. No one cares about the stupid lines you draw anymore, or the lines that were drawn, at least. Drawing new lines now. So maybe we'll get some cool weapons, some tomahawks and things like that. I could be completely wrong about this, and the Native Americans in Texas may not have used that. I don't know. But I'm sure they could bring stuff like that back, which would really expand the amount of weapons. I talked about this faction way more than every others, but that's just because I think it's the most different faction that we've seen so far, because the factions in New Vegas, the casino factions, weren't that expanded on. They were all considered a sub-faction in the main quest, but still, this is new, and this is cool, and I hope we can join these guys and team up with them. Or maybe you can't. Maybe they're the option that is excluded, because down here it says option 3, Revolution. Maybe we can join these guys, and the Confederacy, but not them, because maybe you don't have the option to play as a Native American player, and maybe they don't accept you because of that. I'm not sure. Just speculation, but they came out of Vault 25, so that means vaults are back. Good shit. They've even added and listed off 5 new companions right here, so you can see we have Ebru, a ghoul. I'm not going to go through and read all this for you because I've already gone. I think it's like 15 minutes of recording, and I'm adding to that right now. So, I'm just going to try to cut that down and not talk too long, so just give you an overview, and I'll link the website in the description so you can come here and look at all this stuff yourself. We have Ebru, Mole Rat, Rona, which looks like a really drawn picture, different than all of these. These look like concept art, and this looks like a paint-drawn picture, which is strange. Maybe it has something to do with the character, I don't know. Then we have Sheriff, and there's a 3D model of Sheriff, actually, which is right here in the media section. It's the only 3D model they have up right now, but if you just click on Sheriff, click to the 3D, it'll load you up an actual 3D model of what the guy's gonna look like in-game, and he looks incredible. Sheriff, obviously indicating he was a sheriff at one point, I'm guessing. He can be your companion, and he looks cool as hell. Has this red cape going on, which almost looks Legion-esque. Maybe I'm wrong about that, I don't know. But there's Sheriff. Alright guys, thanks for watching. That's everything that I'm going to tell you about Fallout Lonestar. If you want to know more, there are multiple podcasts interviewing these guys, interviewing the head director and the lead dev on the team, which I believe is Christopher Means, as you can see here. So check that out, look into this, and be hyped, because this is crazy. It's going to be a while until it's done. It's a fan project, and they're sort of taking in people from all over the place. If you have skill in game development at all, definitely contact them if you're interested in working on this, because I've read before they're looking for any help that they can get. So definitely do that. It's gonna be a while before it's out. So yeah, but still worth checking out. Definitely. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, subscribe maybe, comment, yeah, comment, like if you like, if you dislike. I know it doesn't say that in the little image, but you know what to do. And I mean, if you disliked it, I'm gonna leave now.